Hello, my name is Sip Mendes. Welcome to Sip's Wood Chips. And for this video, we're going to talk about making ferrules. I make ferrules for a lot of handles, and they're usually made out of copper. And what I've been using are couplings. And couplings are they're used for joining two pieces of pipe. So this slips over one end, and then it's soldered, and then another piece of pipe can be put in here. And so you can make longer pipes, or copper tubing they call it. So I've been using these couplings, and these couplings are a little bit expensive. They're probably about $1.50 a piece, but I can cut them in half and I can make two ferrules, which is about 75 cents a piece. But I can also make them out of copper tubing, and the copper tubing, it comes in 2-foot lengths, 24 inches, and they run about less than $10. So I can make them for about maybe about 32 cents each. So it's a big difference in price. So make sure you read, understand, and follow all the instructions that come with your power tools and equipment. Woodworking is fun, but it's also important to work safely. So keep watching and I'll show you how I made these ferrules. And I usually prefer the couplings because they're thicker. The ends are already square, and when you polish them, they look really nice. Okay. Here's some tools that were already made, and you can see that the couplings don't really fit in there right. They're very small. The 3/4 is actually bigger than these that they use. This is a 1-inch coupling that I used, and they're really thick, and they work quite well. So what I'm going to do is several people have suggested just buy copper tubing, and I usually cut them with a hacksaw. And when you cut them with a hacksaw, then they need to be cleaned up a little bit more, and they tend not to come out quite square. So many people have suggested buy tubing. This is a 2-foot piece of tubing, 3/4 inch, and these sell for about $10, so that's about $5 a foot. If you buy longer lengths, they get cheaper. This is a tubing cutter, and made by Rigid, number 10, and it's good to keep these oiled. Drop oil here and here on the roller, on each roller. Also sharpen this. This is actually the cutting wheel. And then oil this one also so that you can turn it easy. And so I'm going to make a new coupling, and I want it to be about that length, almost an inch. So I'll just measure it out roughly. It's about an inch. And the way you use this is you hold on to the tubing and you turn it around. And you turn it until it gets free. Then you tighten it slightly, turn it some more, tighten it slightly. And you keep doing this until it actually cuts through it. And what's happening is it's parting the copper. It's not really cutting it. You'll see there's no filings of any sort. It's just pushing its way through. And when it's through, it'll break apart. And this worked pretty good. This is actually quite sharp. So after you cut them, you need to scrape the inside, get rid of the burrs. There's burrs in here, and so you need to get rid of that. And then usually when I put it on my my handle, I'll spin it, and I will clean it with sandpaper and maybe a little piece of steel wool. And these big ones, the 1-inch ones, I can make two, but these are I think they're about $3 for this type. So this one here was about $1.50. But they look nice, they look good, they look heavy. Here are the bottle openers I made, and I made these from a piece of 3/4 inch copper tubing. And these are the ferrules. You can see what they look like once they're sanded and polished. They look pretty good. This one particularly, because it's been finished only with clear lacquer, and so it's got a good shine to it. And the way the math works out, I can buy a 2-foot piece of this for about $10 with this tax and everything, and I can get 32 ferrules out of that, so it works out to about 32 cents a piece. Now, as far as differences are concerned, actually there are some differences. For one, if I use couplings, the copper is thicker, these are a little bit thinner, and I don't think that makes any difference at all. I think they're just fine. The other difference is it takes me longer to make one of these, because when I use my tubing cutter, it tends to slightly crush the end of this, and it leaves a very sharp edge in here that I have to either sand it off or grind it off or file it off, and then I have to use either sandpaper, wet dry sandpaper, or a larger file to get this off there. And on each ferrule I have to do that to both edges, because when it cuts it leaves that on both edges. And so that's one thing. It is more time consuming for you to do it that way. The ferrules made from couplings, one edge is always very nice and square because it's factory finished. The other edge I have to cut with a hacksaw, so my cuts are not as nice and as square as these are, but I can clean them up a little bit quicker. I suppose for now I'm going to continue making my own ferrules out of copper tubing. I've already got the copper tubing, I already have the tubing cutter, and I think I really do like the way they turned out. If you've enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, click on subscribe. If you're not a member of YouTube, sign up for an account. It's quick, it's easy. You can leave comments, you can ask questions, you can get answers. So until next time, take care.